Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Hey, Nat, how are you going?
I'm good, Sammy. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I am.
Yay.
I've had to shut the door because my neighbors are doing some construction. So
Oh,
hopefully
great.
we don't hear that. But there's no Midas here today, Nat. There's no
I
Midas.
know.
He's in getting his teeth removed.
He
My
is. He'll be a
puppy.
little gummy bear.
He is going to be a little gummy bear. He's already my little teddy, but it's always
Yeah.
hard when you're working from home and your dog's not here because you realize how much you actually talk to your very little friends. But
Yeah, so
yeah.
true.
So today we wanted to chat about anxiety becoming your identity. So this was something
Mm.
that happened to me when I was young. When a little bit backstory for me, for you, and for the listeners. When I was a little girl, I had panic and anxiety disorder, and nobody knew what was wrong with me because it wasn't common back then. I'm sure you, especially in children, it wasn't common. And so I went months and months thinking I was dying. There was something wrong with me. Every doctor thought I was a hypochondriac. I had
Mm.
CAT scans, MRIs, you name it. And eventually, I found a book and I found a psychologist who told me what I was experiencing was anxiety and panic disorder. And so for me, I realized, oh, okay, this thing has a name and this is what I have now and this is who I am. I am this person that has anxiety, that can't leave my house, that has panic attacks. And it became my identity. I was the girl who had anxiety. And yeah, it consumed me. Did you? And I started referring to it as my anxiety. And I noticed we've done that a few times throughout other podcasts because it's a habit that we get into where we identify as this thing that we are. When it's sort of an extension, it's a feeling, it's an emotion that we have. We become. It's like how we talk about it being our compass. It's like you have a compass that guides you. You're not the compass. It's not a part of you. It's an extension that you hold onto that
Yeah,
guides you. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Does that
yeah.
make sense? Or am I just talking gibberish?
Yes. No, 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 it does. It
Like you're
absolutely
kind of just
does.
looking at me like, eh?
But no, I'm listening to you.
Have you ever sort of like someone's given you a diagnosis and you've just decided, okay, well, this is what I am. I can't be anything other than this. Yeah.
No, no,
Okay.
I was, I guess because I was older when when I developed anxiety or became aware. Obviously, I had anxiety when I was a child, but it wasn't extreme and I hid it well. And I didn't even know I was hiding it well. I was trying
Eating.
to say hitting it. I was hitting it well, um, but didn't even know that I was. It was just my normal default. So, and no one knew what I was experiencing. So, and I didn't think about it. I didn't think, oh, I've got this or I'm trying to hide this. It was just, I was just doing it. But when I was dying, so mine was a long journey though. I had a breakdown at work one day and was taken to hospital because they all thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't know what was going on,
Feels like
but
that.
they ran all the tests, and I had this really lovely female doctor, and she was sitting with me, sitting on the edge of the bed in emergency. They'd run all the tests, and she said, "You're not having a heart attack. You're physically you're okay." And she actually said, Honey, you've actually just had a breakdown." And my reaction was like, "What? What? No." There was disbelief. So it wasn't like, oh, okay, this is what it is. It was like, yeah, no. It then took 2 years of before I was actually diagnosed with complex PTSD. Now, obviously, they had told me. I mean, it was obvious I had anxiety. I never actually identified
With it.
with, as that.
Yeah.
I was very aware of my language, even though I probably didn't really understand like we do today, the power of our language. But I was just like, No, I refuse this. I haven't been sick like this before. I'm not going to be like this forever. Even knowing I had many doctors actually tell me you're so sick, you will never
Mm,
get better.
this is you. This is who
This
you
is
are.
it. This is you.
Yeah.
This is you now. And I was like, yeah, no.
You too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, no. I never said my anxiety or my PTSD. I always said, I have anxiety or
Yeah.
I'm feeling anxious. So there was a part of me that was distancing myself from the disorder,
Hmm.
even though, like I said, even though I wasn't aware that I was doing that, like all the reasons why, but I refused. But
To believe.
that came with its own problems, though, as
Yeah.
well, because I didn't accept.
Disassociate. Yeah. You push yourself away.
Yeah, I went the other extreme, and that was actually a big part of those early years was learning to accept that I had a disorder, but not identifying as the disorder.
Yeah, I find that really interesting. I've met, like, I don't know if you've noticed in clinic, for some reason, I was attracting myself in clinic, but I had so many women coming into my clinic with anxiety. It was, a symptom, this emotional thing, and their body was
Yeah,
always in flight and fight. The body was talking to them, right? Because
yeah,
it's anxiety is basically a signal from your compass to say something's not right. Let's switch to, everything back to north, your true
yeah,
north. But these
yeah.
women that would come in, they would treat it like it was their personality trait.
Yes,
I'm anxious. I'm not that. I can't stick up for myself. I have to stay here. I don't go out at night. I don't leave my house. Like it was just set in stone. This is who I am.
yes,
This is my personality. And I can't break from that because I've been
yeah.
told this is who I am.
Yeah,
And
I see that all the time as well. They're very black and white in it.
yeah. And it's something I'm noticing a lot, like people relying on a diagnosis to be able to give them that freedom and breakaway to say, oh, no, I have this, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And it actually is quite limiting and it
Yes.
stops us, like as you were saying, it stops us from truly connecting with our body and challenging those feelings and sensations. We're just
Yeah.
allowing sort of anxiety to take over and control our lives when
Yeah.
it's
Rule our lives.
yeah, yeah. There is science behind it. So the brain actually loves labels because a label is predictable, right? If you label
100%.
something, like, you label all these things and you label each day and you label and you make sure you've got in your calendar how things work because it's safe.
Yep.
And if you are
Structure is
able,
safe.
exactly, this is who we are now, let's behave accordingly. And it keeps you very rigid. And we've spoken about
Mm.
neuroplasticity on this podcast before, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. We've touched on it a
Yeah.
few times. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that the brain can continually be, I'm not going to use, well, manipulated. I guess it's kind of like using Play-Doh and changing the shape and forming new connections.
Malleable, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. And so if we continue to reinforce that this is who we are now, let's behave accordingly, you're not allowing that natural growth patterns to happen and form in the brain without getting
Absolutely.
sciencey, because I'm not very good at speaking in science language, let's be honest. I teach kids on stages.
But
You're
yeah, and I've found in clinic, it's also when I was in hospital, I came across hundreds of people who were in that that they identify with their diagnosis.
hmm,
Um, the more your world or their world gets smaller and smaller as
yeah,
well.
that's what
The harder
happens.
you identify and you start putting limitations on what you can and can't do, the brain then says, oh, okay, that's not safe. And so your corridor of what you can do becomes narrower, narrower, and narrower
Yeah.
to the
And that's
point where
exactly
you
what
literally
happened.
aren't functioning in
See that
society.
what was it, agoraphobia, where is that how you pronounce it? Because I've heard it pronounced
Agoraphobia.
Yeah, I was watching a
Yeah.
podcast and they were calling agoraphobia. I'm like, hey,
Yeah. No. I
that seems
mean,
early in science,
tomato,
isn't it?
tomato. Let's call the whole thing off.
I know, right? So yeah, I find like when you say I'm anxious, your body will become anxious. If you tell your
Absolutely.
body something, it will find
It
evidence
will.
to support that.
Yep.
Yes, you are anxious because we have all this information coming in here and this is happening. Rather than saying I'm anxious, you can say, okay, I'm feeling a little bit anxious right now. I wonder what's causing my body to feel that way. Not I'm anxious. This is who I
No.
am. Yeah. So
Exactly. Exploring it, having a curious mind,
mm,
staying open rather than because I'm anxious and that rigidity is very, like I said, limiting and we become stiff. Like there's, as we said, there's no malleability, like not in just in our brain, but in our whole body. So
hmm
remaining, as you said, you're saying, I'm feeling anxious
yeah,
and checking in as to, well, what is it that's causing this anxiety?
yeah.
Because
What's going
curiosity opens our mind.
does. And that's exactly what sort of shifted me. So as a little girl, when I realized I wasn't dying or going crazy, because you sometimes think you're going
Mm,
crazy, I thought, well,
yeah,
I can't live trapped in my house and with no friends and no school, and I have to just do something here. And so I started just doing small things at first. And eventually, I signed up for the scariest stuff. And when I realized that I didn't die from those things, it was like I kept kind of pushing myself that little bit further. And I feel like I still sort of had in the background for a long time that I identified with it. But now I
right.
definitely sort of, it's like a signal in my body. And it's only sort of happened in the last, I'm going to say 8 years or so, where I've actually been able to not be the anxious person and realize it's a gift and it's a feeling and sensation that I've been blessed with that I can use to do other things in my life. So we sort of
Yeah.
talked a bit about the identity trap, which is what we were saying, language shapes our behavior. I can't go, I have anxiety, I don't do crowds, I don't do confrontation, I don't do these things because that's not my personality. Meanwhile, you're just going in overprotection, limiting yourself, going around in circles. Identity is a fixed sort of thing, whereas experience is more fluid with the brain and growth and
Mm,
that malleability. When you're feeling anxious, it's often your body telling you that it's afraid of something. It's overloaded by too much information. We talked about noise in the last a couple of episodes ago, that noise can be another
mm,
thing. It can be a misalignment. Maybe you're hanging out with the wrong person. Your body is really intuitive at letting you know when there's a misalignment. Like this
yeah.
doesn't feel right. Something's going on here, especially in business. I find you can pick that up straight away when you realize that I don't want to work with that person. Something doesn't
Yeah.
feel right here. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Unmet needs is another big one as well. Do you ever get anxious when you know you need something, but you haven't met that desire yet, and you just kind of, it's like, I don't know, it could be anything really. Like, I know with my business, there's so many things that I want to do and achieve that sometimes I get anxious because I haven't created the space to do that. And as soon as I complete that or I do that, it's like that anxious feeling just subsides because I'm like, oh, yay, I've completed it and I've done it and I feel amazing now. Like it's
Absolutely. And
a
that's
bit
the
of a
thing.
drive
Like,
to do it. Yeah.
we all experience the feeling of anxiety at some point. So, what you're experiencing is just normal, everyday, like just anxiety, as opposed to an anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
Like, so you're anxious about you haven't done something, or you're a bit overwhelmed at the moment. But as soon as you address it, that anxiety subsides
No.
and goes away. That's when you know you don't have anxiety disorder
Yeah.
anymore. Because
Yeah.
because anxiety itself is
Oh,
not
it just keeps building and building.
evil and bad. Yeah, absolutely. It's when it becomes dysregulated and starts
Yeah.
affecting your life, and you've got this like generalized anxiety or social anxiety, and it starts limiting your life
Mm.
in whatever way. That's when it becomes a disorder as opposed to just feeling normal
Yeah.
anxiety, which again, it's just our body's signal saying, hey, you've moved away from your true north. We just need to
hmm
come back. We just need to recalibrate.
Yeah. It can consume you. If you let it. When I was
Oh
at my
gosh,
worst,
yes.
I would lose sleep. It would consume me. And
Mm,
you had to sort of stop and create that space, which was extremely difficult to do. to
Mm.
sort of find out what anxiety is trying to show you. It's the more you ignore your body and just identify with this is who I am. I'm not listening to my body. This is it.
Yeah.
It consumes you. It really does. So we've done a lot of sort of practical shifts that you can do in previous episodes. Like, I mean, we always go back to the breath that slows the body,
Always the breath.
slows that compass from spinning, and you can really tune into what your body's saying. But what about language reframes? We did touch base on that just a little bit, but I mean, we were talking about reframing it, saying it's my anxiety, or I have anxiety too. I'm feeling anxious because, and then sort of the other language things that we can use, Nat, because I know that words are really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Just saying, I mean, what really helped me was just saying, I'm safe. I'm okay. Just to rewrite that script of, I'm not safe because my nervous system is telling me I'm not safe. So
Mm.
using that language of I'm safe. My biggest one, though, the mantra that I used as soon as I came across it was, this too shall pass.
Oh, I love that. I love that analogy that the metaphor of being the storm will always be there and the crashing waves, but if you just sink a little bit down underneath and let it pass, I
Yeah,
can
let the waves roll
crash
over you.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't feel the crashing,
Underneath
you
is
just
all
see the ripple
calm.
above you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my biggest one. This too shall
Mm.
pass.
Yeah. Yeah. I say
What
that
about
some.
you? Yeah.
For me, I do actually think that when I'm feeling at my most anxious, like when something's really consuming me, like maybe I did have a confrontational conversation with someone, and that is can be challenging for someone who isn't used to that. And so my body would go into overdrive for a bit as it was learning a new pattern, which is always fun. But I would constantly keep reassuring myself that time doesn't stand still. This too will pass, and my body's just processing this. This is fine. And often I also look at other things like the resilience that I've built, and I'll flash back to similar
Mm.
things that my body has gone through and the feelings and sensations. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I felt this before. We're just up leveling. We're learning a new code. The brain's forming a new code here, and it's challenging
Exactly.
and we'll come out the other end fine.
Yeah.
So
And as
yeah,
you said, you're not going to die from it because I think that's the biggest thing. I felt the same. Like, oh my God, am I going to die? Am I having a heart attack? You know, blah, blah, blah. So knowing, yeah, the brain loves proof.
yeah,
So when we
yeah,
start giving it proof that, oh, hang on, I'm not dying. I'm not actually having a heart attack.
mm,
The sky didn't fall in. The world didn't end when, when this happened.
yes,
And I
we're good.
did get through it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the resilience, right? That's the
yep,
resilience. You've got the story, you've got the book, you've got the proof, and
yep,
maybe write down every time you've challenged your perception of reality and all the things. Write down in a journal somewhere. So when you do have that, moment, because it will come up again. Does all the time with
absolutely.
me. Your body's going to challenge you. Your brain's going to challenge you. As to whether or not this is safe, what you're doing. Gosh, it happens regularly for me because I'm constantly up leveling in my business and putting myself in scary spaces. But they're only scary now. They're not scary later once my body realizes they're not scary. Uh,
Oh, but even that language there, you could
mm,
even change that to
an exciting experience.
exciting and fun. You think
Yeah.
about, like if I don't like roller coasters, but just say you're on love roller
Love
coasters,
roller
and you're
coasters.
going up the steep part at the beginning, and you're a bit scared but you know that at the peak you're going to go down, and that's when it's going to be
Really
fun.
fun.
And so that's the
Yeah.
way of looking at it, rather than it being, oh, this
I
is a
like
scary thing. It's
that.
just like,
That
I'm on the
metaphor is
roller coaster. I'm just
great.
about to get to the peak to go down the fun bit.
It's like the anxious bit. That's what I always said to my hubby and my mates. I said, I don't know if I could ever go skydiving. And it's not the actual skydiving, it's getting in the plane and going up there. It's the anticipation because that's what anxiety is. It's the unknown. It's the not being able to control what's going to happen. But when the thing is happening, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
you get the
Once,
adrenaline, you get through it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
the climb.
Absolutely.
It's the climb.
It's the
So,
climb. Yeah.
yeah. So the moment that you stop identifying with anxiety is the moment that you can start learning from it. The moment you can start changing things and growing and using it as a superpower, which is what I talked about in my book. and a
Yep.
way to reconnect with your body. If you're feeling more anxious than people around you, perhaps you've been given a gift where you're really connected to your body and it's trying to overprotect you, and you need to just have those conversations and change the language from this is scary to this is exciting, and we're growing and we're changing. So
Yes.
yeah, did you want to add anything else to that? I think this will be a lovely, a nice little lovely episode. I mean, I haven't got
Yeah.
clear of the timing, but yeah, let's. Do you want to throw anything else in there?
Be gentle and kind to yourself because you're learning a new skill.
Mm.
So don't come down heavy on yourself when just stay curious, stay mindful. And when you notice that that the language, your internal language that you're using is not helpful, just observe it, acknowledge it, and then just gently do a reframe rather than getting anxious about the fact that you're using language that isn't helpful
About
because
the
then you
language
start
with
getting
the
into that spiral again. Yeah.
anxious, about the anxious language with the anxious. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the spiraling, the loop.
The
Wonderful. Well,
loop. Yeah.
for our listeners, I'm going to do a reflective question. If anxiety wasn't part of your identity, what would you be willing to try? Like, would you be willing to actually stand up for yourself? Would you be willing to, confront that person? Because I find a lot of the women that were in my clinic, Nat, they kept going and running from life, and they were being bullied and moving house and changing job after job because they had identified as I'm not strong enough to have that conversation. This
Yeah.
is who I am. This is my personality. I am an anxious person and I just don't do things like that. And so they would go around in circles and never change. So
Yeah.
maybe let's pretend that anxiety isn't your identity, and what would you do with that?
Mm.
Yeah.
Love that.
What would you do with that? All right. Well, we're gonna leave that here. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and a lot of calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. Disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line, or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.